Have you ever had a night that started out ordinary, but by midnight, shifted the entire course of your life? That's exactly what happened to me. My name is Linda Carter, I'm 61, and I live in a quiet, leafy neighborhood in Northern Virginia. For the past 7 years, my life has been steady, maybe too steady. My kids are grown, off building their own families on opposite coasts. The house is big, echoey, filled with memories of my late husband, James. My days blurred into a rhythm of tea, books, gardening, and silence. I had convinced myself that solitude was peace, that I didn't need more. But then, one rainy weekend, someone from my past knocked on my door and nothing has been the same since. His name was Michael Reynolds. Years ago, he was one of James's closest college friends. He was at our wedding, he spent holidays with us when we were young. Over time, life swept us in different directions. A few sporadic birthday cards, a Christmas email every now and then, that was all that remained. Until last week, when out of the blue, he called. He said he'd be passing through Virginia and asked if we could meet. I suggested coffee, something simple. But he hesitated before asking if he could stay the night. Hotels were full, he explained. My first instinct was no. But he was an old friend, and I had a guest room that hadn't been used in years. Against the soft hum of the rain, I said yes. When he arrived, I almost didn't recognize him. His once dark hair was now brushed with silver at the temples, his beard neatly trimmed. But his smile, that same easy, disarming smile, hadn't changed. The scent of fresh rain clung to him as he stepped inside, and for the first time in years, my home felt alive again. We stood in the foyer, awkward for a moment, as if the years between us were a wall we needed to break through. Slowly, over tea for me and whiskey in his for him, the wall crumbled. We sat at my kitchen island, the lamp above us casting soft shadows as the rain tapped steadily against the windows. We talked about everything, my children, his retirement, the places he traveled, the mistakes, the regrets, the moments in life that still haunted him. It wasn't forced. It wasn't small talk. It was real, raw, and unexpectedly comforting. At one point, his hand brushed my cheek as he tucked back a stray strand of hair. My heart jolted in a way I hadn't felt in years. I didn't pull away, but I also didn't lean in. The moment floated between us, heavy with unspoken questions, before fading into silence. By 11, I showed him to the guest room, a warm, tidy space with fresh linens and a view of the backyard. He thanked me, his smile lingering just a little too long. I closed my bedroom door, leaned against it, and realized my heart was racing. I hadn't felt anticipation like that since I was much younger. At midnight, something stirred me awake. Maybe it was the branches tapping at the window, or maybe it was the presence of another soul in my house. Then I heard it, footsteps. Slow, deliberate, moving down the hall. Curious, I slipped out of bed and padded toward the guest room. A flickering light spilled from beneath the door. Candlelight. My pulse quickened. I opened the door gently, and there he was, Michael, sitting on the edge of the bed, a single candle glowing on the nightstand. His expression shifted from startled to soft when he saw me. I couldn't sleep, he said, his voice low. Too many thoughts. I stepped inside, unsure why I hadn't gone back to bed. Are you okay? I whispered. He nodded slowly, glancing around. Just being here, it reminds me of James. Of our younger years. Of your laugh. Of things I didn't realize I missed. The flickering candle painted him in shadows, and for the first time, I didn't see him as just an old friend. He apologized for touching my hair earlier, for crossing a line. But I stepped closer and said, "You didn't." His hand reached for mine. And in that moment, all the years of loneliness shifted. I didn't pull away. Instead, I sat beside him on the bed. We didn't kiss. We didn't rush. We simply sat, hands brushing, talking for hours. He told me about his quiet divorce 10 years ago, about the way his dreams had dimmed. I told him about losing James, about the silence of widowhood, about fearing that maybe my last new beginning was already behind me. He listened in a way no one had in years, his presence grounding me. At some point, I leaned my head against his shoulder. For the first time in so long, I didn't feel alone. Morning light spilled through the kitchen window as we made tea. We talked about small things, the birds in the yard, old movies, even the stubborn wasp that later chased him while he helped me clean the patio. But beneath it all, the memory of the candlelit night lingered. Every look carried weight. Every word felt deliberate. By afternoon, as we looked through photo albums, pictures of James, the kids, our younger selves, my heart softened in ways I hadn't expected. I whispered that my house had held so much joy and loss that I didn't think there was room for anything new. Michael's voice was steady as he replied, "There always is. Sometimes we just need to open the door again." That evening, on the porch, as the sun dipped low, we shared wine and silence, not the kind born of emptiness, but the kind that spoke of presence. He reached for my hand. His words were gentle. "I don't want to rush this, Linda. But I want you to know I've felt more alive these past 2 days than I have in years." And when he finally kissed me, it wasn't urgent or desperate. It was soft, steady, honest. The kind of kiss that says, "I see you. I'm here." That night, when he stood at the guest room door, he looked back at me and asked, "Where would you like me tonight?" My heart thudded, but I didn't hesitate. "With me," I said. And so, he was. We didn't chase fireworks. We didn't pretend to be young again. Instead, we let the years fall away, undressing not just from our clothes but from the layers of loneliness and fear we had both carried. We held each other, talked, laughed, and discovered intimacy in its most honest form. When the morning came, he was in the kitchen making scrambled eggs and toast. I leaned against the doorway, watching him, realizing that love doesn't vanish with age. Sometimes, it circles back. Sometimes, it waits for a rainy night and a knock on the door. Michael left 2 days later, but not without a promise to return. We didn't put labels on what was happening between us. All we promised was to keep the door open. And for the first time in years, I believed in new beginnings.